meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with Scotty Scoop, the Giggler, in the studio in St. Louis, Missouri. It's time to talk about the biggest movie of 2021. We just saw it again and again. I'm sure you're out there seeing it again and again and again. They brought them together. It's all happening. All your dreams are coming true with this fantastic film with the web slinger himself. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's give it up. $30-second MCU title, the fourth MCU movie released in 2021. Again, this is a Sony film. Spider-Man is the Sony property. Let's just break down the biggest movie that's happened since Avengers Endgame. Huge, most anticipated, most delivery in terms of anticipation, and I cannot wait to get into a story that is epic, that hits on all marks, and we're going to get some ratings. We're going to talk about how we feel. We'll poke holes where we need to. We got questions about where this thing ended. First, a little help from Digital Spy. I wanted to bring him some numbers because, my gosh, this thing...
It's a lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers. Especially with the pandemic in full swing, numbers are crazy. It's like, what is even a good box office nowadays? Let's try to help you out. Thanks again to Digital Spy. This thing had a budget of $200 million. Let's talk about the box office. Had a huge global opening of $600 million worldwide and is currently standing. This is as of just yesterday.
Oh, man.
This is of January 4th. At $1.37 billion as of January 2, making it the 12th highest grossing movie of all time. It's also Sony's biggest movie ever, taking the record from its predecessor, Spider-Man Far From Home, that made $1.13 billion worldwide. Little frame of reference for the year. Black Widow had $375 million, Shang-Chi $417, Eternals $399 million. Again, these are all 2021 titles. And if Spider-Man No Way Home manages to end at $1.6 billion, I guess this is the next target, that will make it the third biggest MCU movie of all time, obviously behind Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
I guess we should give it up because that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I read today that the four Marvel films made up 30% of the box office numbers from 2021.
30% of all box office profits.
Yep. Wow.
So a third of everything that came out was people that people saw
was a Marvel property.
Was a Marvel property.
Yes.
In terms of people seeing it and
Yes.
going and paying money, or I feel like, man, the big experiment, right? These movies and Disney Plus, it's a big, either way, people are showing up, and people showed up for this Spider-Man film. I want to go around the room, do some gut checks. This movie that I just saw last night, coming off hot, is an emotional film. And when I talk about it, I get so excited. I got to calm myself down. But man, I think we're going to be talking about Near Perfect today. Giggler, the Spider-Man himself. You've been Spider-Man on the show. You love the guy.
I wish you would have reminded me to wear that suit today.
I told you to bring the mask.
I don't know why.
I was kind of wondering why.
I completely forgot.
Scotty's got the shirt on.
Yeah.
Scotty's got a crossover with Lost.
Crushed it.
And Spider-Man. The Dharma Initiative logo with a Spider-Man logo. Nice job.
Yeah.
Giggler, gut reaction of the film.
You said near perfect. I would agree there. That's for sure. Emotional roller coaster. Like, it kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And like, I'm going to continue to see it probably a couple more times this month because that's how good it is.
Yeah. You had a great time.
I loved it.
How'd Stephanie do?
She loved it too. We saw this in Pittsburgh the second day of our vacation. Like, I made a compromise with her. She was not pleased to be seeing a movie while we were on vacation, but I was like, but I have to.
Vacations are for.
Yeah,
But
we're
I
on
have to.
vacation.
Yeah.
But-
This is the best time to see a movie.
Right. What
Yeah. No, I
cinematic adventure.
I saw it in like a janky movie theater in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
but
no.
it's fine. It was so good. There was like no one in there, and
wow.
She loved it.
Yeah, it hit on all cylinders, and then you saw it a second time.
Yes, saw that. I already pre-bought tickets for the $5 Tuesday at Ronnie's.
Yes.
Thanks, Ronnie's. Appreciate it as
Yeah.
always.
Marcus Theaters, love you guys.
Saw that and brought Mikey, my roommate, and my friend Mike Harrison as well. So
Double mic
good
in it.
man.
It was
Good man.
all with all the mics.
Yeah. I actually had an extra seat on that one, so I just had an open spot next to
buffer.
me. I was like, it's
Buffer
$5.
zone. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man.
And I forgot to return it because somebody backed out. But
you had a good time. You saw it in IMAX. I think IMAX is the way to go.
yes, 100%. I'll see it again. You gonna go next week? Maybe.
I'm in. Let's just I mean absolutely. It's gonna take us to go. Scotty Scoop, give us that gut check, the instant reaction. What was your experience like? Where'd you see this thing and how'd it go?
I saw it at Marcus DePere Super Screen DLX. I didn't get to IMAX at either time that I went. The first time it was just sold. Waited too long. And man, I sat there the whole time just in awe, and it's just like, I can't believe they're delivering.
Yeah.
Like it's happening.
Here it comes.
Like every beat was there. And I was like, man, where are they going to drop the ball?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Where's the lull? Where's it gonna fall
Where
short?
where do we slow down? Where are we gonna have problems? I didn't get there.
It's a movie that pushes like the obstacles in the movie. Usually you have like 2 or 3 like toward the middle and you start wrapping them up.
Mhm.
This one was like, okay, not only are they getting bigger and worse and crazier, by the end you feel satisfied with the ending, but you have this hunger to be like,
Yeah.
what are all these things that are about to go down?
Yeah, what is going on?
Should we talk about the story?
Let's do it.
This movie, MCU Town, talking timeline. I mean, we're trying to figure this out. This picks up immediately after Spider-Man Far From Home. This is after the events of Endgame. This is a post-blip world. Like 6 months is what I remember. About 6 months had gone by in Far From Home. He fought Mysterio. He wins, but then at the end, we get a end-credit scene. I think it was a different version of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
.net.
Right. Doing his own like Alex Jones thing.
He's doing like it's like this.
He's got like green screen behind him.
The green screen for sure.
He's a menace.
He's a menace, and he's got the voice. Here he is. Okay, Spider-Man is Peter Parker in the movie. This movie opens with that. It's a cold open with the audio from the end of that film.
Yeah,
and you hear J. Jonah Jameson. Spider-Man. Everyone knows this is going to change his whole life. This is what we got in the trailer. They live right up to it. And essentially you're getting, this is how many films now is this? This is his 6th, his 5th?
Yeah.
2 Spider-Man films, Civil War,
6.
Infinity War, Endgame. This is Tom Holland's 6th film. And man, I don't know.
It's hard to believe.
It's so hard to believe because you see him on screen and he's Spider-Man and immediately you're like, I'm in again.
Mm-hmm.
He is Spider-Man and he feels young. He feels fresh. I mean, they've already, after this movie is so successful, they already confirmed 3 more titles.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But this is obviously going to radically change his whole life. And apparently at this point in time, media is blowing up and he's being almost really on trial. Stalked by fans, but then brought in by the FBI because he essentially, did you do what Mysterio said?
Right.
Did you send these drones down to kill people?
Yeah. Some sort of international assassin.
Yes. And pretty much, getting told, like, if you don't cooperate, you might be going to jail. Aunt May's there. They're questioning her.
Child endangerment.
Yeah, you let him do this.
Right.
Let's not forget, this is after the Sokovia Accords, which, like, what happened to the Sokovia Accords, like, after the blip?
Yeah.
Like, do people care anymore?
Yeah.
Like, after the blip, are they like, hey, we got to rethink all of the Accords because every superhero just
saved the world, the galaxy
in upstate New York.
Yeah,
the universe.
Yeah,
like the whole universe. Like they had to have rethought the whole Accords thing.
Right.
So he's a little bit on trial, but they don't really bring up the Accords.
No,
it's not about like you dressing up as Spider-Man, which you would think that would be like the go-to. Like this is the crime, but it really wasn't. It was more about like, did you do what Mysterio said?
Right. It's like no, I was working with Nick Fury the whole time. Oh no, you weren't. Because Nick Fury's been off planet for like the last 5 years.
The last year,
he
said. And he's like, what? So,
right.
So then you figure out, okay, this is a spoiler for Spider-Man Far From Home. Talos, the shapeshifter. Skrull.
There we go.
He was Nick Fury the whole time, which is like a whole storyline itself. Nick Fury's up on a space station somewhere. So cool. And I guess it's just like public knowledge that Nick Fury's like up in space.
Yeah.
Like people just know it. It's also affecting his girlfriend and Ned. They're now having trouble getting into colleges.
Yeah.
MIT's like, no,
Yep. Sorry, you're friends with Spider-Man.
it's just not going to work out.
Apparently, it was okay for Flash Thompson to be friends with Spider-Man.
Yeah, Flash Thompson.
And
He's selling a book.
Yeah, he's got a book. That was one of the problems. Little snag there.
You didn't like that?
I just thought it was weird.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna let Spider-Man's best friend, who came out with a book, in, but you're gonna reject Ned and MJ because they're friends with Spider-Man. I was like, I'm not jiving there.
Yeah,
something's weird there.
Something real weird.
They had to shoehorn him into that.
I agree. You know what I did like though? The moment Flash finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
that's great because that's like the payoff from the first two films. It's
right.
like, what?
Yeah,
this guy that I've been like bullying essentially. So he's Peter Parker's he's not having it.
Yeah, he's outed.
He's a good lawyer.
He needs he needs a good lawyer. And here we go. Charlie Cox is back. Daredevil.
Boom. Yeah, we cut into the kitchen.
And into the kitchen. Matt Murdock is here. He's in the MCU, not just brought back into the MCU from his TV show, but in a full feature film, sitting there being Tom Holland, Peter Parker's Spider-Man, giving him advice, telling Happy advice, because Happy maybe eventually had something to do with some of the Avengers stuff that was like stolen,
missing.
It's missing. He's telling him, and while they're sitting there talking, brick comes through the wall, like someone throws it from the street. Matt Murdock does his thing, catches it.
No look catch.
No look catch. How'd you do that? What's he say? I'm a really good lawyer. I'm a really good lawyer. Hey, what'd you guys think? How was this?
Oh man,
what was this like for you? Was the theater? Was your theater also like?
Oh yeah, when his face was on there. Everybody just whoa.
There he is. He's got the red glasses. He's got the cane.
Yep,
like
same guy.
Same guy.
You know what was this? 2013, 2014.
The
Daredevil
Netflix show.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think 2013 to 16.
Yeah.
Ran through.
Foggy. Where is he?
Who knows?
Karen.
But they just flopped that right on the table in
Boom.
the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Immediately.
I was like, that set the tone immediately. I was like, this is what this movie is going to be.
And they're like, well, let's just show him this right now and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And like, what else are we going to see?
Yeah. And spoiler alert, the rest of the movie is so good that by the time the end of the movie came, I didn't even remember.
You don't even
was
remember.
in it.
You're like, that was that. And like,
You're
how's
like,
that going to
crap?
And like, that's going to come around. And then, I mean, spoiler alert for Hawkeye, because you might be watching, depending when you watch this, or if you're just watching the clips, Kingpin is back. So it's like, okay, now we got both these characters just in the two most recent MCU titles. Like, holy cow, this is no coincidence.
Yeah.
They're just gonna bring them in. They're just like, how do we bring them in?
Yeah.
Just bring them in.
Just march them in.
Do you guys love it?
I loved it, and it just made my brain right away go, who else are we gonna get? Who else are we gonna get?
Yeah. What's gonna happen next? And what does happen next? Peter decides, all right, that's enough of this. No, none of us are getting in college. Flash Thompson's at some MIT happy hour nearby. He calls him, gets him to tell him where one of the administrators is headed to the airport. It's a lady, I forget her name. She's driving to the airport. She's trying to get to MIT. Peter tracks her down.
Oh, you've jumped ahead of the Doctor Strange meetup.
Oh, I've already skipped it?
Oh, you already skipped it.
Oh, because I'm jumping.
Yeah.
To the... that's what I'm trying to get to.
You're swinging into the future, Logan.
That's right. All right. So he says, I can get help with this. I'm going to go to my wizard friend, Doctor Strange, because I know for a fact we could do time travel. He's got magic.
Yeah.
He goes
there.
He can fix it. And what do we get, man? We get the Sanctum Sanctorum covered in snow.
Oh, yeah.
Who are those two people shoveling snow?
Just random two kids.
I don't know.
Interns?
Magic interns.
Like nothing.
No explanation.
None. Not from anyone.
We'll get one. They'll have their own show.
No one even
2025.
Neither Wong, which Wong shows up, comes out of the thing.
The new Sorcerer Supreme. There was
a technicality. Doctor Strange was blipped, so Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, and he's out doing all these journeys.
Yeah, he's busy, man.
Where we seen him? I mean, throughout the MCU this year, we saw him in
Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Is he in Eternals post-credit scene?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I was like, there was one more. Yeah, and he's around, and he's off doing his thing. Peter says, hey, listen, Doctor Strange, why is all this snow in here, first of all?
Right.
Well, they say a blizzard blew through one of the doors.
We've got a portal to like Antarctica or something, and a blizzard blew through because somebody forgot to to tighten the door or some
and he's
crap.
like, and somebody forgot because somebody's forgot that I have higher duties now as the Sorcerer Supreme. But he says, can you go back in time and make it to where no one outs me as Peter Parker, because that's what has trickled all of these things. So, Happy's in trouble. Aunt May's can't live at home anymore. Friends can't go to college. Strange says, no, I don't have the time stone anymore.
Right.
Because it was destroyed.
Yeah.
Which first question of like MCU, like what the rules are, our universe doesn't just have any stones right now. And I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Because Thanos destroyed them.
Yep.
All right. Doesn't have them. And he says, well, what if, all right, that's fine. Doctor Strange is like, how about I do this? I'll make it to where no one remembers that you're
Make
Spider-Man.
everybody forget.
So he says, that's fine. Wong is like, I don't really approve of this. I'm just going to leave. Strange takes him down to the basement of the Sanctum Sanctorum. The
wizard's dungeon.
Yeah, the start with the D.
I don't remember what it was.
He tells him later. He's like, you guys can hang out in the whatever. But he takes him down there. Never been in this room before, but here we are in this like crypt.
Laundry room / laundry.
Doctor Strange is just going to do this spell.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Doctor Strange? Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie, like when you see him in the first, that first scene, here we are doing this scene. What's going through your head?
I was like, man, there's something off.
Right?
Like, something's off. He's very laid back.
He's wearing a hoodie.
Wearing a hoodie and some.
I love the fit. That's a very quarantine outfit he has.
Oh, trust me, comfy wise. But it's like, is he doing okay?
I think he's just.
Is he going through it?
Like, hey, I'm not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore. I don't have any responsibilities.
We saved the universe. I got blipped for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm back at the house. Sure, I'll do your memory spell.
Yeah, I've just been hanging out here all day eating carrot cake.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way you do it on quarantine. All right, so he does the spell. He gets the rings going. And Peter, of course, in classic Peter Parker style, just like fumbling over his words. Oh, I forgot.
What about MJ?
I want Ned to know.
My best friend. I can't let it's Aunt May. It was really awkward when she found out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't want to go through that again.
Right.
And the spell ends up breaking.
Yeah, going crazy.
Goes crazy and hits, like, starts like even, I think we had a little bit of like multiversal cracking happening already, just a little. Then Doctor Strange puts it back and he puts it inside one of these little prisms. This like 3-dimensional shapes that
contained it into some sort of hexagonal shape,
which we've seen.
We've seen them all over the place.
What if, for sure,
yeah.
with the Dark Doctor Strange Supreme, that's what he did with the Ultron body and Killmonger. He just put them into a little purple. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Except it's just like, I think that one was like round.
Yeah.
This one's like more
wild.
Some sort of extra dimension that he's like.
Yeah, it's like a pocket dimension.
Yeah, something like that.
And contains it and says, listen, we got to contain this thing. That almost erupted bad.
That was bad news.
It was like breaking through the multiverse, but hey, whatever. We're good. You get out of here. As since you've already talked to the colleges and they've said they can't let you in. I guess that's what it is. And he's like, oh, I could have called the colleges.
They just said I wasn't in.
Yeah.
I can ask them to like not do that?
Yeah, where's Aunt May? I mean, she's the one running in with all these letters.
Yeah.
Like, do you think she'd be like, why don't we call them? Call MIT. Like, there's not a lot of trying real hard to solve it. Otherwise, you wouldn't need Doctor Strange.
Right.
So I'm glad that they went this route.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess he probably hadn't even told her yet, right? At that point, right? Because he went straight from...
You might be right.
He was at the diner.
Yeah, but like all the other places...
The other ones were saying no,
all
too.
Rejected. She would have been like, hey, don't worry. You can call him.
I'm going to send an email.
Yeah, get in touch.
Yep.
Maybe have a conversation. Hey, can you rethink this? Nothing.
And this is where he decides, okay, I'll do that. So that's when he calls Flash Thompson. That's when he says, okay, I'll find this MIT lady. I'm going to talk to her. Finds her on the bridge. He's wearing his suit and tie. And she's like, okay, maybe. And in the middle of this conversation, he gets his Spidey sense.
Yeah. You start seeing some
little rumble. People running.
Yeah, people running and screaming.
Hops up in the car.
Superhero pose.
Super spider pose for sure. Here he is, goes. Doc Ock. He's back.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina, de-aged.
I mean, Andy, what were you thinking? How were you feeling when you saw this big octopus MFer coming down the highway?
Well, I This part was all over the trailers. Can you imagine seeing this fresh?
I wish.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool.
Trailer free.
Made me think.
I might be skipping trailers in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, what rating am I going to give this movie? It would have probably been even better if it would have.
If you had no idea about any of it,
oh my god!
Like they made the movie and you just blipped back.
That's it.
You could, you go straight from the end of No Way Home, then you just cryogenically freeze yourself until the next one comes out. I think I'll probably just do that for the next movie.
You just freeze yourself in between Marvel movies.
Yeah. For sure.
That sounds like a pretty good life. And you would live a long time and you get to see all the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'd be like, I only live like 5 days a year.
Like, you wake up and you're like, what phase is it?
Yeah, what phase are they on?
You take like a 2-minute long piss like in Austin Powers when you're done.
Evacuation.
Wow. This is Tangent City. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. All right, so there he is. He's here. He's DH from Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. He's here across the multiverse. He's looking for Peter Parker. Apparently, it's like before he's died. Obviously, he sees Spider-Man in a suit. He thinks it's his. Big fight scene on the bridge. Apparently, there's this fight scene lasts, I don't know, maybe around 5 minutes. They say that it could have lasted 20 with the footage they got.
Yeah.
Like this will be like extra features, probably wherever we get to watch this one day.
We're going to get like the spider cut or something.
The spider cut.
Woo!
That was really good, Scotty.
Thanks. Buy it.
You don't just bring me here for my looks, right?
That's right. Yeah, also for really good super puns. All right, fight goes back and forth. A lot of throwing of cars. This guy's just as maniac as he ever was.
Oh, yeah.
As big a maniac as he ever was.
Straight from Spider-Man 2.
Just
like right from the end.
Just drop him right in.
He is angry.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's him again.
Yeah. The arms are in full control.
Yep. And
worried about his stupid son.
Yeah.
The sun, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. And like they brought back all the quotes.
Where's my machine, Peter?
Yeah, Peter. And he pulls off part of Peter's nanosuit and
like tries to like stab him
and
in the chest
and doesn't go down. Yeah, he was gonna stab him.
He like rips his mask off.
And his mask like protects his mask goes down to his chest and protects him.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when he's like, "Oh, you're not my Peter."
Yeah.
Okay, Who are you? Then it's like, okay, what's going on here? Doc Ock notices the nanotech. Nanotech takes over his octopus arms, and Peter.
He's happy about it at first. He's like, "Oh, nanotech. This is
like,
nice."
And you think like, "Oh, he's
like,
gonna be
great,
like extra bad
now."
Now
he's
no. Guess
super
what?
Super Ock.
His suit can be controlled now by Peter Parker's suit.
Like Bluetooth. Yeah,
Bluetooth. He's like hitting settings and he's
web tooth.
He helps the lady get back up to the bridge. He rides it up. He kind of rides it like
Doc Ock is like pissed the whole time.
He's like, "Come on,
what are you doing?"
He's like, "Oh, he's all locked up." Yeah. And then right as he's starting to be like, "What's gonna happen?" The MIT lady's like, "I'll help you guys out. Don't worry." She leaves.
Yeah, you're a hero, Peter.
Wow.
And then
pumpkin bomb,
and we get him.
Yeah,
like full on.
Like
just
here he
there
comes
in his full on suit, just right there. You're looking at him, and then Strange right immediately takes Peter and Doc Ock back to the crypt and like locks away Doc Ock.
Yeah,
the multiverse is cracked open. Instead of anyone forgetting that you were Peter Parker or you were Spider-Man, instead all of people that know Peter Parker is Spider-Man from unknown universes are now showing up here.
They're coming here.
Yeah. They're being pulled from their universe. They're being pulled here. Doc Ock's the first one. Plan becomes pretty simple. Trap them all. Go find them. Trap them all. Peter says, "I need help." He gets MJ's help. He gets Ned's help. They get to hang out in the basement of the Sanctum Sanctorum. This is where you get the Scooby-Doo this shit line.
Right. He gives them the little arm shooter thing,
the magic blaster, like nanotech, but with
magic.
Doctor Strange magic,
pretty crazy.
That can shoot and trap the people whenever you shoot them.
Send them back to the basement.
Next one,
even if it's just a tree.
Yeah,
even no matter what it is, no matter what it hits, it puts it into the cell. We don't know what happens to. We find out right away. Green Goblin is Norman Osborn. He takes off the helmet. He's in an alley. It's him, and he's having the dialogue with the bad version, and he's Norman. And this guy is like, he's really kind of coming to now because he's like, I have jumped into another universe.
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong, and he kind of becomes the good Norman again and just
Yeah.
runs off. You don't know what's going to happen yet. And the next one that we have to get is, we don't know which one it is, but Peter goes off into the woods out in the middle of nowhere where they've got a sense of one. Who is it? None other than electricity forming Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And we forget when they got Doc Ock back, he already had the lizard.
Oh, yes.
In the basement.
He had already, Dr. Strange was like, I went into the sewer and I found that thing.
Right.
And it's Dr. Connors as
Doc
the
Connors.
full-on lizard.
Yeah.
So next is Electro. Jamie Foxx is here. In this universe, the power feels different. He has his body.
Normal. He's not blue.
He's not blue. And he almost kills Peter. And right before he does, what can happen? Sandman pops up and goes, Peter!
Yeah.
It's me!
Peter, it's me!
What's his name?
Flint Marco.
Flint Marco! Yeah, remember? I'm good now.
Right.
And he just sees the Spider-Man suit, inside out, black and gold.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Peter basically enlists Marco's help to kind of fight against Electro.
Like, help me bring this guy down.
Yes.
He tries to shoot him. It goes right through his body.
Yep.
Hits the tree.
Takes
zaps
the tree
back to the basement.
And eventually, Jamie Foxx, he's fine in this movie. I want to talk about it. I think probably the best line was probably right when you get him is like, y'all just gonna stand there and pretend I'm not naked?
Right.
He's just full on naked.
Yeah.
But then
he zaps him,
locks him up. Okay, here we are. We're here. And
that really turns off Sandman. He's like, "What did you just do to this guy?"
Yeah, yes.
He's like,
did you just kill him?
Did you just kill that guy?
I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, I don't trust you. I
You're
don't
not
trust
the Peter
anybody.
I know. But then he zaps him. He gets him locked away. And then the last one is Norman Osborn. Peter's hanging back. He's cleaning up the electrical lines that he's unplugged. He's like putting them all back. And he gets a call from his Aunt May, who's down at the food shelter where
food bank,
where she's always volunteering, and says like, one of these guys just showed up. It's Norman Osborn. And this really made me feel for the guy here. This is where Peter finds him, and Norman's like, I woke up, I'm in a strange place. My son is not a person.
Right.
Someone is living in my house.
Oscorp doesn't exist.
Doesn't even exist.
You know,
like this is what shook me.
Yeah, right away you're like, oh my God.
You're like, man, this guy, like, is he a victim to this demon that he like awoke himself? And to bring him out of the original Spider-Man film, and we're watching it almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
And he looks great.
Oh my God. They're de-aging. It was perfect.
Everybody just looks like it's
normal.
It's only been a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's insane.
What'd you think when you saw the Goblin?
Insane. I love it.
Were you empathizing for Norman? Were you like, I feel for this guy?
He should probably win like an award or something. His acting was unreal in this.
Get him an Oscar.
Sounds good to me.
I
heard they were going to be putting a lot of money to try to get
the film has been submitted
they're going for it.
Yeah,
they're going for global takeover,
best picture and every category. It has been submitted.
After what you say about the 30% of all the box office money was Marvel, I was like, I can't unhear that. Yeah. I'm like, man, they're going for global takeover. They're going for like all of it, all the things that people are watching, and Oscars are another path, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so you get all these guys there now. All the bad guys. You got them from all the different movies. And Peter's there, MJ, Ned. Strange comes back. He's got the curse in the box now, the new box. And he's like, when you push this, it'll send them all back.
Well, and they've had a dialogue now with Doc Ock.
Yes. That they're learning.
Like, hey, Norman Osborn was dead.
Yeah, here we go. This is where we figure out the what of all this.
Right. Like, he was dead.
Norman Osborn was dead, and Sandman says, you both were dead.
Yeah, you were both dead.
Otto.
Yeah.
And then we get the story of the other two. Oh, what do we learn?
Yeah.
All of you guys.
I was just about to kill Spider-Man.
I was just about to kill Spider-Man.
No, he was whooping my ass.
Yes. And they all kind of had the realization, like, that's when they got pulled out, was like, you're going to send them back? Well, they're going to die.
Yeah.
And this inevitably becomes, and this is going to be the big question. This is this type of stuff I talked about when we talked about Loki. We talked about What If. You get into these questions of like the whole storyline about Loki. Spoiler alert for the episode, that show, and the TVA and what it was for and all that. And the real question comes down to like, who is anyone to say that like any multiverse can't exist or do whatever?
Right.
Because Strange's whole thing in this movie is you got to send him back.
Yeah, we got to protect this our timeline.
It's better if they just go back.
Yeah.
It's kind of the logic.
Right.
Like, they don't belong here.
Yeah. So something's going to screw up even more if these guys stay here and we don't send them back exactly where they belong, just like they did with the Infinity Stones.
Yes, we had to put them right back where they came out of.
Right.
We got to put them right back.
Because he got that spiel, the Hulk did anyway,
Yes.
about, hey, you're plucking these things off. You're going to create another timeline.
Yes, you'll create these crazy realities, right? This is the same worrisome speed. But here's the dilemma that Peter gets. You're sending them back to die.
Yeah.
And Aunt May is like,
you have to help these people. You're Spider-Man.
and she's all about, like, every person you help, you got to help everybody. You're Spider-Man. This is your whole thing. And because of this, we get Spider-Man versus Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of this, man?
Oh, man, that was great.
Beautiful.
Take the box.
Zaps him into the cell with Sandman.
And you're like, oh, that was pretty good. Walks right out.
Yeah, snatches the box, walks through the force field.
Yep.
Sandman tries to follow him.
Yep.
Smashes his face. And
they're out in the street.
Yeah, Spider-Man's like, I'm out of here.
We get so many cool things here with the magic and Spider-Man.
Tells his friends, like, hey, what am I going to do? Like, I got to get out of here.
I'm gonna go run. I'll be right back. He's in the street. Strange makes the ring holes, and Spider-Man, like, webs himself. Falls, like, through the hole. Strange gets a hold of him. Astroplanes him out. This is a big part, Andy. I know what's coming up here. It's Tom Holland, Peter Parker. He's back there in his real body.
Hey, am I dead?
Am I dead? Am I dead? Strange reaches for the box, and Spider-Man, the body, like, incoherent, is just moving it away to where Strange can't. And he's going, you should not be able to do that.
Yeah.
You should not be able to do that.
Spider sense.
It's got to be Spider sense, right?
Yep,
they take you back
100%.
to Tom and to Peter, and you can see almost, like, visibly the spider
lines.
sense
around
his head. And he swims himself back into the body, and he goes, that was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Don't ever do it to me again.
Right.
Which is like, this is like him becoming more Spider-Man every time you've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like getting very much more of, like, his own hero. Love it. But Andy, you had a theory that you sent me about this.
Okay, can you guys remember what that moment was called or whatever?
Yeah,
What If?
absolute. Remember this? An absolute moment. Do you remember that from What If?
Well, we can't discuss this yet without spoiling a future event of the movie.
Okay, let's just leave it then.
I got it.
All right, we'll do it at the end.
There later.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a theory around this. What's like something more is happening than Spider.
Oh,
I know what
okay.
you're talking about.
All right, we'll do it at the end.
I got it on my notes. We'll go.
Epic. All right, epic battle into the Mirrorverse. Here we go. I mean, this is so awesome. And Peter's like, where are we? The city's like folding on itself. The trains are going. The long line of the train just going through the sky.
Yeah.
And
Pulls him into the mirror dimension.
And he gets like a little mini lesson because, like, I just watched Doctor Strange, But like, if you like Peter Parker, he hasn't really hung out.
He didn't watch Doctor Strange.
He didn't. He saw the battle against Thanos.
Right.
So he like had an idea, but like being in the city like that, he's just falling.
Yeah. Very Inception. Buildings collapsing in and moving and
the different
shifting.
And he notices the different patterns that Doctor Strange is building. And Peter realizes it's a form of geometry.
Yeah, this is just geometry.
I'm good at that.
Yeah.
And hooks it up with his webs in a way to where he pulls like the Mirrorverse on top of itself, gets Doctor Strange sling ring, the box, and locks his ass in there. And he gets back to the place and he goes into MJ and Ned and he goes, I just had a fight with Doctor Strange and I won.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
It's like, I got the box. I took his ring.
I got his ring. Ned takes the ring.
Right. There's a little bit of magic in his face.
Little magic. He like high fives him. My grandma said there's got a little magic.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is like, you should see your physician.
Pops, yeah.
And here's the plan. I'm gonna cure all you guys while Doctor Strange is locked away. I'm not just gonna send you back. I'm gonna cure you and change your fate.
Yeah, we're gonna fix you.
We're gonna fix you.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is like big time storytelling. Like, they're going out on a limb here to be like, this is a big decision. This is a big call. To be like, I'm just gonna
you're
heal.
really gonna let all 5 of these villains who just tried to kill you.
Yeah, everyone was trying to kill you.
You're gonna let them out, and you're just gonna work on them.
And you're gonna take them to Happy's condo.
Right. We don't have a place to go.
We have nowhere to go. And thank goodness Happy did steal, I guess, from this Avengers campus and had a
fabricator or something. Yeah.
A fabricator. The same.
It was on the one that was on the Quinjet.
It's like the same thing that was on the jet in Far From Home when he has to like make his new suit and Happy flies the jet.
Yep.
And he has this thing, and essentially he's going to use this fabricator to make the tech to heal everybody. Doc Ock's up first. Can he do it? Like, everybody's doubting him. You get some good
They like figured out like, oh, it's this the chip on the back of his neck.
He goes, and he explains it just like they do in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
this makes it to where he controls them and they can't control him.
Right.
No wonder he's so pissed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Crazy.
And Norman's like, wow, if you ever want to have a job and you don't mind commuting multiverses, you can come over to Oscorp. And I was like, this is getting so good.
You get that classic line. I'm something of a scientist myself.
That was so great. Bring it.
Loved it.
Oh, and the villains talking about each other, and Jamie Foxx was like, "Oh, I know Dr. Connors. I used to work with him. Yeah, he went real crazy, tried to turn a whole city into lizards." And Dr. Connors is like, "If you want a real makeover, I can give you one."
Right.
And Jamie Foxx is like, "Let me guess, a lizard?" He's like, "Yes."
Oh, ridiculous.
Oh man.
So good. You get Jamie. I guess Jamie Foxx has some. They gave him some good funny stuff.
Yeah,
Jamie Foxx
got
and
some
Sandman
zingers.
talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, Sandman's like, "What happened to you?" And he's like, "I fell into a vat of electric eels."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And he's like, "I fell into
A super collider.
a super collider." And Jamie Foxx, "Yeah, well, guess you got to watch where you fall."
Yep.
Like that kind of stuff's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
The banter.
So Peter, I keep calling him Tom. Peter does it. Heals Otto.
Yeah.
Puts the thing on. He's like, my goodness, my boy, you've done it. And they're working on the rest of them. And while he's working,
Well, they get he puts the thing on Jamie Foxx.
and it's in the countdown.
He says, "Hey,
it's sucking the
this is
electricity.
gonna take a little time. As soon as it greens up, you're good.
You'll be like, he would have been good right
Yeah.
then. He actually solved
He
that
was
one pretty quickly.
1 bar away.
Dr. Connors, the lizard, is hanging out in the truck. He didn't want to come in.
Didn't want to come up.
Nothing for Sandman yet. And
He's working with Norman
on the next, what was the next one?
It was on his.
It was on his,
Yeah.
his antidote.
Yeah. It's
To cure the monster inside Norman Osborn.
Yeah, it's like spinning up. It's getting ready in the fabricator.
So then he realized as he's doing this, Spidey sense. How good's the Spidey sense in this movie?
Oh yeah,
best
man.
time, best yet.
Yeah, he's got it really honed in.
Except for, I say best yet. I mean, the Magneto stuff. That was the lesson of honing in that skill, right? Like what I say?
Magneto.
Yeah, Mysterio.
Mysterio. Yeah.
When he's fighting Mysterio in Far From Home, like that was like,
Yeah.
if you don't have spider sense, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So think like he honed in. But this one, it's like
He's got it. Like he knows.
and he is in the room. The way they shoot that close up of his
Walking
face,
around, he's like, something's going on.
and then he locks in. It's Norman, and he goes, "That's a nifty little trick."
Yeah, like webs him.
Webs him up. He says, "May run." May grabs the antidote. Everybody goes wild from here. Electro's like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
The lizard's like,
Screw this.
The lizard's
Rips
like,
it off.
"Here we go."
Yes, this goes down, and he starts ripping out of the truck.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
J.
exactly,
Jonah
I was gonna say.
Jameson shows up.
He's down
Perfect
there.
timing.
He's like, "Did you see that?"
Right.
I forgot how he found, I think he was
He had
tipped
one
off
of his
to go there.
he had one of his
somebody was
lackeys
following Peter.
him,
Okay.
and he's like, "They just left the apartment."
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You're right.
And so it's a big fight scene. I mean, huge fight scene.
Huge.
Sandman leaves.
Just
Electro
flies
leaves.
away.
They're just like, we'll go do our thing. Goblin versus Peter Parker. Also Lizard a little bit, jumping
Yeah.
in and helping. And Norman Osborn. William Dafoe. This is brutal fight scene and so good.
Oh yeah.
And like these two going at it. Like this
Knock
is
down,
it.
drag out. Like they've been doing this for years.
This is the fight. This is like no holds bars.
Yeah.
Like as hard as I can go, as hard as you can go.
Smashing through the floors and
That
the
was
ceilings.
so
and-
brutal, but so
Yeah.
awesome. The way
Landing-
they just drop through the floors.
Dropping through the floors, land in the lobby of the building. May's there, and right when she shows up, Norman is choking Peter Parker,
Mhm.
and it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's really got him down. And May gets up, puts the
Yeah,
cure
like
at
a-
his neck.
Yeah, hits him in the neck.
Didn't work.
Yep.
Just flat out didn't work. Well, of course, Norman was working on it. He probably
Yeah.
like sabotaged it. The bad guy.
For sure.
Peter's up. He's telling May to get out.
Still fighting
Still fighting, fights him
You know,
off, and May and
the glider.
Peter goes down again. May grabs something, and she's
It's
like,
a pipe. Yeah.
a pipe or something. Like, I'll stay. I'm not gonna leave you.
Yeah.
Call back to the first movie, the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Glider from the outside comes in, smokes her, gets her this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
She's not doing it back.
full on.
Just nails her.
Yeah.
Knocks her to the side. She's down.
He jumps on the glider.
He jumps on the glider. He looks.
You'll thank me, Peter.
He goes, "You'll thank me for this." And he decides, and he really, man, he's so evil. He smiles so big, looks at May, and he throws a pumpkin bomb.
Yep.
Kind of pet peeve. Like, why not? Why aren't you webbing that thing?
Yeah.
Peter jumps for it, doesn't web it. It gets by a little bit. He's okay.
Yeah.
It's really the blast is really about him.
It's a throwback to Spider-Man and the pumpkin bomb explosion, like right in his face.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So great. And May's down, and she gets. Oh, she's up actually. She helps him up.
You know, you're thinking, okay,
she's all right. She's fine. And
maybe everything's gonna be okay.
You know, maybe it just barely clipped her, and she's talking to him, and he's starting to come down on himself, and he says like, you know, Norman's right. Like, none of this is worth it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send him back.
Why am I not just sitting? Which I mean, you got to be thinking the same thing. Like,
right on the phone with MJ. Hit that button.
Push
button.
Push the button now.
Yeah.
May's not okay.
No.
And she says,
she gives him
great power.
She gives him the speech.
Also comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
I am also not okay.
Yeah.
And she goes down.
Yeah. And
it got me.
You're like, oh my God.
And it was a different experience. It wasn't like just a normal movie where someone dies. It's like you're seeing this play out before it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the lines. And it's like, this is...
As soon as she drops the line, you know what's happening.
It's a rite. Yeah. This is like a rite of passage now.
Yeah.
And she goes down, and Tom Holland just delivers.
Yeah. Well, and for 3-5 movies, you're like, where is Uncle Ben? Guess what? Aunt May is Uncle Ben.
And it's that Uncle Ben was always her.
Yeah.
And Marissa Tomei, I mean, gone at least until another day. You know, maybe with the power of the multiverse, who knows? But she is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that hurt.
That was heavy.
Peter just having a breakdown.
Both times.
Absolute breakdown.
Happy shows up.
Happy shows up.
They got him in cuffs. They're shooting at him. He runs off. Where's he going to go? Who knows? He's really struggling. So why don't we just go ahead and check in with MJ and Ned?
Yeah.
Hanging out at Ned's grandparents.
Yeah.
Grandma's.
Grandma's.
And, I mean, Ned is a shining light in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This actor, I forget his name.
Jacob Batalon?
Way to go, Andy.
Like that?
Yeah, boom, on it.
He steals the show.
Every
scene he's in.
Endlessly optimistic.
And his face, his expressions,
yeah.
when he's like, this is a torture machine. MJ's like, that's a Pilates machine.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh my God. Like, everything. And he's sitting there talking with MJ, and he's like, I just wish I knew where Peter was. You know, he throws this, and he's wearing the sling ring, and you just see a little sparkle. And she goes, do that again. He goes, yeah, I know. I wish I knew where Peter was.
Yeah. He's kind of flailing. And you see another little... and then he thinks he's got the hang of it.
So then he goes for it.
Yeah.
Show me Peter, where Peter Parker is. Ring opens up. We can see Spider-Man.
End of an alley.
End of an alley. There he is. All right, here he is. He's running towards us. Music's building up.
Yeah.
You start to think a little bit as this
wait
is
a
going.
minute. Wait a minute. That's not the right suit.
Andrew Garfield's here.
Andrew Garfield.
Peter 2. Peter 3?
Peter 3.
Peter 3!
Peter 3! He steps through the portal, rips his mask off.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm Peter Parker. I'm not your Peter. I've been looking for him.
I've been here for a while.
Yeah. They're like, prove that you're Peter Parker. He hangs on the ceiling.
Do the sticky thing.
And
he's like, I'm not doing the sticky thing.
She throws the bread at him.
Yeah, hits him in the chest with the bread. He does the sticky thing.
Andrew Garfield's great, right?
Oh, man.
Right away. He's like, quantum entanglement, string theory. He's like, all real? They go,
yeah.
Yeah. He goes, knew it.
Yep.
And like, he's a scientist, you know?
Like, how did you get me here? Magic's real?
So magic's real here? The grandma is like, can you get that cobweb while you're up there?
Yeah, out of the corner over there.
And okay, he's here. And he's like, I'm here. I'm here to help. And then it's time, like, let's try again.
Yeah, well, we got to find Peter this time.
We got to find him this time. Do it again.
Show me Peter Parker.
This one, Toby's here.
Oh, man, he steps through.
He steps through.
Like,
regular clothes.
It's just
Tobey Maguire.
It's just some random dude.
Just give it up for both of them. Both of them are now here in the room meeting Ned and MJ. And for us, the payoff is here.
Like they did it.
Not only did they do it, but now these guys are in the movie.
Yeah.
And
Like they're here.
And Toby says it, Peter too says like, I feel like your guy needs so much help right now.
We're here for a reason.
And they say, okay. And Toby says, is there a place that he would go to be like by himself?
Yeah.
Like these guys like know each other.
Yeah.
It's like that feeling of like knowing yourself a little bit.
Oh yeah. For me, it was the top of the Empire State Building.
For me, it
was the top of the Chrysler Building.
Chrysler Building. That's a great view. It's a great view. And they decide right away, let's go find him. Where's the spot? It's the rooftop from earlier in the movie where they were hanging out. And he's broken.
Oh yeah. Breaking down.
This was, I felt this, man. Like his friends, MJ, Ned, they just crowd him. They just hug him, and it's a group hug, and it's like just silent, no words. Aunt May's gone. They know it. He doesn't have long to grieve because he senses these guys right away. They're up top. Just these Spider-Men jumping around, looking better than it's ever looked before. And
Toby's still in his street clothes.
And we get a couple kind of like tag team a speech here, essentially like saying like, he's like, don't tell me you understand. And he's like, Andrew says, I understand more than you realize. Like he doesn't even say this. Like he lost his Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And we know. Yeah.
And we know.
Yeah.
And he's like, I lost Gwen, my MJ. And Toby tells his story about the night that Ben died.
Yeah.
And then they all find out about great power, great responsibility at the same time.
Yeah.
And then it's, why don't the three of us team up and see if we can change these guys' fate? Because as they say, man, that's what we do. We're Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like, we wish we could have done that for these guys before.
Andy, what were you thinking with these two just hanging out with Tom Holland?
Like from the moment of Aunt May's death until that moment there was like the biggest emotional roller coaster, like theater experience that has happened since Endgame for sure.
Yeah.
That was so, I can't believe they just did us like that.
Yes.
Just dirty. I loved it. I loved it. Man, it was so good.
What about you, Scotty?
Man, it's like he said, a roller coaster. They beat you down to the point where you're focused on Aunt May's death.
Yes.
And then just immediately they give you hope.
Yeah.
With like, here's what you guys came for. 2 more Spider-Men.
And not only are you getting them, but now it's time to get into the lab.
Yeah.
And we're getting all the Peters working together. We're going to make cures for all these guys. And we're going to get some Peter and Peter action. We get Ned talking with Tobey Maguire saying, did you have a best friend?
He died in my arms.
He died in my arms after he tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And Ned just sitting there and like looking around and like awkwardly using the computer. Tom, still kind of going through his thing. Peter 1 and Andrew, he's got the lab coat on. He's like, I've already cured Dr. Connors once.
I'll take Connors. I've already cured him before. So
I've already done that.
Not a big deal.
Toby, I guess, is like, I guess I'm a scientist a little bit now.
Right.
It's a stretch.
Yeah.
But he said he'd been thinking about it for a while.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I guess maybe. And we don't know anything about his life. And man, we're going to talk about all of this.
He was working with Osborn.
Yeah. And he was like,
so he was capable.
And he went to like the Otto Octavius like show of the Sun and and was like, I'm interested in meeting these people.
Right. I'm brilliant but lazy. I could probably do this.
Brilliant but lazy. Great. I loved all three of these guys together. There's so much that happens in the lab and the banter back and forth. Ned saying Peter
and this, huh?
Sorry. Sorry.
No, Peter Parker's like, what? Spider-Man.
Still us.
Unreal.
Andrew Garfield calls Toby a cool youth pastor. He's like, you gonna wear that in the battle?
You gonna fight in that?
But he's got the suit on underneath.
Yeah.
And boom, right away, man, they're all at the Statue of Liberty. Peter gets on JJonahJameson.net, like live on the show, taunts him with the curse box. We got all the cures. We got all 3 Spider-Man. And we have a discussion about web shooters and how Toby
doesn't have them
and just makes it.
Right.
And they are just having this conversation, this biggest payoff of these things that like no one else was talking around when I was a kid, but I was the one watching these movies like, so he shoots it out of his wrist.
Right.
And then the web cartridges. Okay, so everybody else has web cartridges.
Yep.
These guys have the same questions.
Does it come out of anywhere else?
Does it come out of anywhere else was the best. He goes, nope, just the wrists. And Andrew's like, yeah, I'm just, I gotta make this stuff in a lab. It's like a big pain. And
Yeah,
you
it sucks.
don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I don't. He popped each other's backs. You had the part where Toby is like basically telling Andrew, Peter too, like, you're awesome.
Yeah,
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. He's like, what's this lame talk? Why are you? He's like, what's this head talk where you're calling yourself lame? And kind of pumps him up in the movie.
Yeah, it's like, I fought an alien that was made out of black goo.
Yeah.
And then Tom comes back. He's like, yeah, I fought an alien too in space.
And in space.
Yeah.
And, he's like, I'm still.
Andrew's like,
you. He's like, I don't want to be lame. I want to fight an alien.
I've never fought an alien.
I fought a rhino.
I fought a rhino. A guy in a rhino.
Russian rhino suit. It felt all right. It felt like it was definitely like that was fan service.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that was like for those fans, for like people that are like, yeah, Andrew's always been good.
Yeah, Andrew's my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's time. It's time. All the people show up. Electro shows up first. Sandman's back. The Lizard. That's it for now. And they're at the Statue of Liberty, the new Statue of Liberty with the Captain America shield. The scaffolding is still all around it, so they're not done. And the fight sequence commences. The Peters try to fight. Doesn't go well at first. They all agree.
Yeah.
We've never done this before.
Stepping on each other's toes.
They're cutting
running
each other off
into
with
each
the
other.
webs
Yeah.
and stuff. They're trying to throw stuff to each other. It's not working. And Peter says, we got to fight like a team. And he's like, all right, I didn't want to brag, but I was an Avenger.
Yeah, I was on the Avengers.
I was on the Avengers.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, cool. That's great. What is that?
Yeah. Is that a band? Were you in a band?
Were you in a band? He's like, how is this helpful? He's like, no, trust your Peter Tingle, your Spidey sense. Let's go out there. They're going to focus on one at a time. And one by one, they start knocking this thing out.
Yeah.
Also, who shows up in the middle of the fight against Electro, who's kind of getting the best of everybody? Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Comes back. Looks like he's bad guy. His chips fried again. No, they're going to give you this full redemption story. This guy's here. He takes the Electro thing off. He's done. He's good. Toby gets Flint Marco up in the top of the Statue of Liberty, uses the anti-fusion whatever. Heals him.
Yeah.
Connors gets the gas put in his mouth by Tom Holland. Heals him. He's good. Electro's good. Doc Ock obviously is already good. I guess he's just going to always have his metal arms.
Yeah.
So he's just back to being a good version of himself.
Right.
And Doctor Strange now has made it back. We get Ned, using more portals.
Can't close the portal.
Can't close the portal. Opens up another one. Doctor Strange comes through. Just says like it's time to go. But then sees that Peter has achieved his mission of healing these
almost everyone.
Almost everyone.
Yeah.
When we say almost everyone, who we missing?
Green Goblin. Gobby.
There he is.
Right before the fight really goes down, Strange is there, and the curse, I guess, is expanding, and it's getting harder to contain. And
oh no,
right?
He shows up. Goblin shows up.
Yes.
Steals the box.
Steals the box out. Yes.
They get it back.
Yep.
It's got a pumpkin bomb in it
immediately, and that's what blows it.
Yeah.
To expand.
Yeah. Breaks the original spell out.
Yep. And the spell that he contained is now busted loose, and it hits the sky, and it's like multiverse.
It's ripping. There's ripping and tearing everywhere.
There's purple like behind. It's like it looks like bodies, and the shield falls off the Statue of Liberty, falls all the way down, knocks off the scaffolding, falls next to the river. Everybody starts falling. The spider people start catching some people, but Ned gets caught by the cape.
The cape. Amazing.
And he's just flying that cape down.
Yeah. And when he lands, he's just like, just the joy on his face. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Cape. And MJ falls along with everybody.
Yeah.
Tom jumps through, and he's going through, and he's just about to get her. Scooped up by the glider.
Yeah.
Who else sees this? Andrew Garfield does it.
He knows what's happening.
He jumps through the debris, goes down, catches MJ,
boom, saves MJ,
has his full-on redemption moment.
Yeah,
tears in his eyes.
Oh, tears in my eyes.
Tears in my eyes.
Yeah,
like this is it. I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but like whenever they get their shit together before that big stuff goes down, and they jump off the side and they're swinging all three.
Oh, teamwork.
I'm getting the chills right now.
Yeah,
like it was everything you wanted and more. And they've been teasing now, right? Like Green Goblin killed May.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wants to kill him.
Oh,
Wants
yeah.
to kill him.
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
he's
he's constantly being
100%.
reminded, like in the lab and whatnot, like we got to heal everybody. Well, this is it. The big payoff. The shield's on the ground. Who's on it? But Tom's Peter Parker, and Norman Goblin.
Yeah.
And this is the big fight.
This is it.
Hand to hand.
Yep.
Really no weapons. Just full on brutal fight. Hard punches. We didn't talk about when he punched him back at the building over and over and over and over, and he's just smiling.
Effed up.
Oh man,
He's effed up.
He is so good.
He
I
is
wish-
so good. Like,
so
like
good.
we need like just a whole. Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we see more of that?
Yes, exactly.
Not very likely, but would be really cool.
I mean, and to get this, like, kind of like the pinnacle fight of like this defining moment, of like, will he get the revenge he wants? He picks up the glider, he gets him down the ground, he's gonna stab him. Toby stops him,
Yep. Swings in.
swings in, he's holding it, and it's a hard look back and forth between these two Peters. And Tom finally, it's all it takes is to kind of come down and say, I'm not gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
Toby gets stabbed by
Stabbed
Norman.
in the back.
Andrew throws the antidote. Tom gets it, shoves it in his neck. It works, and immediately he's like,
What did I do?
"What did I do?" I was like, "Oh no!" Just
yeah, you're like, God,
you're like,
just
poor
hated
guy.
this
You're
guy
like-
30 seconds ago.
you're like, just go, get out of here. Okay, so they're done. They did it. They healed everybody. All of them now are healed. The Spider-Man are okay. Toby's like, I've been stabbed before.
yeah.
This is no big deal.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man goes back to the top of the Statue of Liberty where Doctor Strange is, just trying to contain this thing. There's no way to solve this. There's no way to change the spell. There's nothing that Strange can do on his own, apparently. But Peter has the idea of, all right, they're all here for Peter Parker, right? Who is, first of all?
Yeah. We've got some silhouettes.
We got some silhouettes. I think it's okay. Like we've already, we've said spoiler for the film, obviously. I mean, if you're still listening,
Right.
You're like, shit.
Sorry, we didn't mean to spoil this.
You know why you're here. You found an article that actually addressed this.
Yeah.
So the ones that I saw in the theater, if you look up, you can see the silhouettes of these multiversal beings.
Yeah.
They're coming in. People that know Peter Parker is Spider-Man are coming. First up, I saw him, Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven the Hunter. Aaron Taylor Johnston.
That's who it's going to be.
That's who it's
Confirmed
gonna be.
casting.
Yep.
We saw the Rhino.
Rhino. Classic Rhino.
And then there were more that
There were more.
Did you, now, what did you guys see? Did you guys see any?
I did not see those.
Okay, who did you see in the article?
In the article, we got Black Cat and the Superior Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys know anything about Superior Spider-Man.
No. It sounds awesome.
There is a point in the comic books where there is some Freaky Friday stuff, and Peter Parker gets mind swapped with Otto Octavius, and Otto Octavius is Spider-Man for quite a while.
Oh my gosh.
The Superior Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's who
Wow.
it was. Like that. This was a comicbook.com article, I think. That was confirmed. Like they knew these characters were up there. Who else?
I don't remember. Do you need
Well,
anybody
it was only a
else?
couple more.
There was only like two.
There were 6.
Scorpion.
Scorpion, yeah, who is already in the MCU. Matt Gargan.
Who's Scorpion? I don't even know.
Guy who wears a big scorpion costume.
Oh, duh! From the cartoon, he's got he's literally a scorpion.
But he was in the
Another animal.
He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He was a bad guy.
He was in the prison.
He was in the prison. He was on
Vulture.
He was on the boat.
Yeah.
I do believe.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. And he had the little scorpion tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was in Into the Spider-Verse. Scorpion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait for that sequel. Okay, so these are the beings that are up in here. They're like coming through.
Yeah.
They're here to come get this Peter Parker. So what does Peter say? He says, what if everybody?
Not only forgets that I'm Spider-Man,
What if everybody just
forgets
Peter-
who Peter Parker is.
they just Peter Parker
doesn't exist.
doesn't exist, and you can't pick and choose. It's everybody or nobody.
Yep.
And he says, but would it work? Strange says yes.
Yeah, probably.
He says, all right, go ahead and do it. I'll go say my goodbyes.
Yeah. Doctor Strange starts spinning it up.
He's like, it's going to take me a minute.
Yep.
He goes down, talks to the Peters. He's trying to put into words. He's like, I just want you guys to, and Toby just says, hey, that's what we do.
Yep.
And they hug. And I'm crying again.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay, here, all right, they're good. They're hanging out on the side. And you get the big goodbye scene, essentially, with MJ and Ned.
Yeah.
Of like, you guys will not remember me, and I promise I'll come find you. And
Yeah.
very emotional, a lot of tears on all sides. MJ saying, "I don't want this. Like, this, is there some other way? There's
Right.
not." And she's like, "If you don't come find me, I'll figure it out again, like I did the first time."
Yep.
Wow.
The spell is cast. It goes out. The walls close up. The multiverse is closed up, and Tom swings off into the sunset. And we'll see where he lands. But the spell is cast, and there it is. The day is saved.
How do you
Yep.
think he got home from there? Do you think he took a boat or like he can't
No,
swim?
I mean,
Peter Parker,
as per Spider-Man 1,
one or two.
you just swing out into the.
Yeah, no, they did a
Into
good
nothing.
job. They did a good job because they at least showed just a little bit of the crane.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he went to the crane. He swings off,
Sure.
and well, I think the next thing we get is he's
walking.
at Aunt May's funeral, grave.
Oh yeah, at the tombstone.
It flashes to that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going right from this action. Everybody
Yeah.
disappears, right? They all go back. You see Toby go back. Andrew, all the villains are healed now.
Yeah.
They're sent back.
Turns into a little silhouette of light.
A little
and
light.
then- and they fade away.
Yeah, they fade away. It's like it's all worked.
They wanted to make it very clear that they were not blipped.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't they didn't get dusted. Epic. Just the most epic action sequence I've ever seen in Avengers Endgame, obviously. That's the pinnacle. I feel like this was right. It was right there.
On a smaller level, it was there.
And it was 3 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like
3 Spider-Men and 5 villains.
And all the ones we've been seeing our whole lives.
Yeah.
So is that Aunt May's grave? Who's there? Happy. Doesn't know him.
No idea.
The-
How did you know May?
Through Spider-Man.
Through Spider-Man.
Me too.
Yep, me too.
Like, does he remember dating her? Surely.
That's one of the issues I've got.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like the last part of this is like what happened. Okay, so then that's fine. And he says, like, I think that everybody that she helped will help people go on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it's time to go tell Ned and MJ the truth.
He's got his own apartment.
Well, yeah, that's at the very end.
Oh, is that? I thought
Yeah,
that was
because
at the,
what he does first is he goes to the coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
And he swings in, and somebody sees him, and
No.
No, that was
at the
but,
very beginning of the movie.
But at the end, he does come in.
He's walking down the street.
And he's got his cards.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm
ready
Peter
to-
Parker. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna tell him.
Like, I'm gonna break it down. They're gonna be like, oh yeah.
And Ned's in there. He's has coffee. He's got it. He got into MIT.
Yep, they're talking about
They're
it.
talking about it. MJ's there. She got into MIT. She's got a Band-Aid on her head from the battle. And
Mhm.
Peter says, like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. Can I just get a coffee?
Yeah, can I get some coffee?
She gets him the coffee. She talks to Ned, and he said, "Oh, you got an MIT?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm not usually excited about stuff, but I am." And I don't know, something just feels
Something
different.
about disappointment, and he's like, "Oh, so you're not disappointed? You always expect disappointment."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm actually looking forward to this."
Yeah,
and then he notices the Band-Aid again, and
yeah. Are you okay? Oh yeah, I don't even remember what happened.
And he decides in a moment, and I'm crying again.
Yeah, because he knows, like, only problems can come of people knowing I'm Spider-Man.
Everyone's been telling him this since day one.
Yeah,
It's been the problem since the first, since ever.
yeah.
He didn't want to go to
always.
Germany because he had homework.
Yeah,
And in Homecoming, he was constantly convincing Nick Fury or that was Far From Home, to change his route to do whatever, and trying to make the field trip. Like, it's always this battle of the Peter Parker and the Spider-Man. I mean, this is tales old as time, but like, this is the pinnacle of that. And he chooses to leave his friends in the past. And he gets his own apartment. Gets that shitty little apartment.
Yeah.
Just like the Toby movies. And
Same landlord,
yeah,
probably.
probably. I hope so.
Gotta
I was
be.
waiting. You pay rent.
pay the rent now.
Pay the rent when you fix this damn door.
Yeah, that's good. That was him being bad.
Yeah.
And he passes box of stuff, like one box of stuff, But he looks at apartment and he smiles.
Yeah.
Nighttime comes. He's got the police scanner on. Sewing machine out.
Yeah, you see little bits of fabric. Like, oh,
And I mean,
he's
I've
been working on
pretty
it.
close to that poster right there. But man, the red,
the red,
blue,
and the blue,
a new, old suit, fabric,
right?
On his own. He is Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man.
And so he swings, he slides, he goes through the city. He's on the ice, same ice as Hawkeye. Same tree. Tree looked like it was up, so either they put it back or...
Right.
Well, I mean, this
is way before.
This is going to be like 2 years before,
like
right?
2 years before. But he swings through...
About that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
We see, while he's swinging, we see signs for Rogers the Musical.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So...
Interesting. So it's like...
I think it is the same time frame.
We're going to talk about it.
Maybe this isn't directly after. Maybe the little time has gone by.
Because
he's like
it's
at
snowing
home.
and it's Christmas.
Right.
That's interesting. So he swings, he's Spider-Man, and he's on his own, and the credits roll.
Credits roll.
I'll give it up. I mean, wow.
Talk about emotional roller coasters.
Yeah.
Emotional, like so many electric feels, so like tears fill my eyes half the time. Let's talk about the end credit scenes. What we get? Okay, first one.
Brock.
Is
Sony's
Eddie Brock. Tom Hardy.
Still in Mexico.
Continued from the end credit scene we saw in Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
At the end credit scene, there was a
multiversal
shift. Something happened. They saw Tom Holland on the screen. They're in Mexico. They're like somewhere on vacation.
Yeah.
Somewhere tropical. And then this one picks up right where it leaves off, where he's in this universe. He's talking to the bartender.
Just trying to get a breakdown.
And getting the whole breakdown.
So there's just superheroes everywhere.
Super people everywhere. And this purple alien, he wanted rocks. He wanted stones.
He was looking for rocks. I know aliens don't like rocks.
They like eating brains.
Yeah.
And Venom's there.
Shut up, Eddie.
Yeah. You're drunk.
Yeah.
And before he's like, all right, I'm going to go talk to this Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, maybe we should go talk to this Spider-Man guy. Stands up. Something's happening.
And boom. He's
gone.
He's lit up like the other guys. They've sent him back. He just had his own little vacation in our universe.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Beautiful.
You called it. You said in credit scene.
You guys know who that bartender is?
Yeah, he was in
Ted
Lasso.
Love it.
Football is life.
Yep, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. Pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's here.
I mean, yeah.
What
he was in the movie.
There, like, just write the Venom and the storyline. What do you say happens?
I mean, I think that, well, first of all, we left a big part out. A little bit of Venom got left on the bar.
Just a little symbiote.
So I think that I guess it's going to play a role like in our universe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it'll bring him back maybe or something.
You know, I kind of think that they're going to keep him separate.
Yeah, they might.
I have a weird feeling that you're right.
They sent him back to his own universe.
They sent right.
And I think this is the birth of Black Suit Superman or Spider-Man.
Yeah, in our universe.
In our universe.
Like we'll finally get it.
And I think we're going to get more of a stretched out story.
Yeah.
With the symbiote and Spider-Man.
Yeah, because it's fair to say that he was obviously there because of the hive mind that we talked about or whatever, and that he knew who Peter Parker was, but obviously Eddie Brock didn't. But so does obviously this little symbiote, like, is it going to remember Peter Parker? Like, my instinct at first was like, it's just going to go straight.
This thing has got to know who Peter Parker is.
Go straight to him. It's all it knows.
Yeah,
but
maybe that's why he always shows up around Spider-Man.
We don't have a Spider-Man who's been out of high school. He's got his own apartment now.
Yeah.
He's going to have to get a job.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another Eddie Brock here.
Yeah, maybe so.
And maybe this symbiote tries to find this universe's Eddie Brock because it knows I can work with Eddie Brock.
Yeah, maybe so. He's like, I've already been on one Eddie.
And then we also have Scorpion, Mac Gargan. He is a huge part of Venom. He has had the symbiote suit in the comic books for a long time.
Interesting.
A psychopath.
Okay.
Of a person.
Okay. So maybe a story for another day.
Yeah.
And obviously a story for another day. We're going to see something.
Lately in the comics, Venom is Flash Thompson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. There's another
So,
variation.
wow.
At least you
Yeah.
make a picture of that guy becoming something.
No.
And obviously they're planting seeds with like Ned and stuff too.
Ned, yeah.
Okay. That's the one. He's back. You're right. Venom's back in Sony Town.
Yeah.
And then the last one was basically just the trailer for Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness.
Multiverse of madness.
Madness is correct.
Something has gone terribly awry.
Something went so wrong to where like the universe is crushing on itself. The city was falling apart. You get a glimpse of what's Rachel McAdams' name in the story?
Oh, jeez.
No, we know it.
I don't know.
Yeah, we do. I just watched it.
Stacy.
She was a doctor. Rachel McAdams, Denise, or
I got nothing.
I can't think
I'm
of it.
totally
but she's in it again. She's back.
Yeah.
She
Got her back.
They're like floating through the multiverse, and then I mean the big reveal. Oh, we get the one of the guys from the original Doctor Strange movie. The guy that was like the number 2 to the ancient one that ended up going bad by
Yes.
the end. He's back with like long hair. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get a lot of Wong. He's like tied up. Like something's gone wrong.
Christine Palmer.
Christine.
Christine.
Palmer. Christine. Come
Yeah.
on, Christine.
And the big reveal here.
Oh, man. Oh, we see Wanda.
Oh, of course. It opens
Yeah.
with Wanda. I need your help.
Yeah.
And it's not about Westview,
Mm-hmm.
which happened in WandaVision.
Right.
I need your help with something else. It's got like the darker beard from the. I feel like that was like a tie to the Just for Men they found in the
little
movie.
goatee, like
Yes.
stencil.
Yes, it's great. Dark Strange.
Supreme, yeah.
The one that we met, presumably, and what if in live action
Tying it all together.
saying things just got out of hand.
Yeah. Very, very sinister looking.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Do you think my first instinct is like we were talking about how he looks different and things are off like at the beginning of this movie? Maybe we'll find out why in this movie, or is this just going to be like straight up continuation right after?
I think it's just
No Way Home.
continuation.
I think it's
Yeah.
continuation, and that they like
There's
they'll do what they do and everything now. They just give you enough to know,
Yeah.
but like all of us will know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've seen the episode.
Right. Like, what is going on? Like something has went terribly wrong, obviously,
Well,
with the spells.
it's the spells and like whatever happened in Spider-Man,
Whatever
you
happened
got
in Loki,
and WandaVision.
WandaVision,
You got all these things going down where it's like, okay, things are breaking.
which brings us back to Kingpin and Daredevil. Like, were they really here before?
Right.
Or did something happen to
Yeah, I
bring
think-
these guys in at some point?
Yeah.
I think it's all
You know,
TBD.
Did something happen? Was Loki before this? Was Loki during this?
Did
Was
something
Loki-
go down where the
Did
multiverse
something go down where the multiverse had started and nobody really knew?
Yeah, and
Are all these guys Skrulls? Secret invasion.
and then you get Secret Invasion.
What is happening?
Oh man.
Yeah, there's way more questions than
Yeah.
answers at this point. And then they've done the job. Be like, we're no
Yeah.
longer looking for like the next big bad. We're more just like, oh, what in the world are these guys
Yeah,
doing?
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why was Ant-Man in Rogers the Musical?
Speaking of what is happening, just a few questions. We got to talk about some of this.
Oh yeah, we got fan mail.
We got fan mail, so I feel like we got to get to it. But like, I gotta like just address the big elephant in the room. Is that like what happened to everybody that like doesn't know who Peter Parker is? Like everybody, the people on Earth.
Everyone.
Okay, that's big enough, right? Like Happy like doesn't remember parts of his life now. Okay, all right. I guess.
Clearly, there are weeks worth of videos of J. Jonah Jameson saying Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Right. That's what I said to Carrie. I go, does all the footage disappear?
Yeah,
Does
for
MJ
sure.
look at her phone and be like, who the hell are these naked pictures of this random guy on my phone?
Who's this high guy on my phone?
Why do I follow this rando on Instagram?
I have all these emails
Yeah,
from him?
That's a
and-
good point.
All right, so that's fine. All
So-
right, then they did it so that the multiverse would close. So like all those like Kraven the Hunter and all those things, right? They don't know Peter Parker anymore. That was the whole point,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Okay,
I would think so.
all right. I guess. Is it just our Peter? First of all, do people forget the other Peters?
Right.
And more so, I'm less concerned about that. Maybe it's just like it's our Peter. People forgot our Peter.
Right. Did Toby go back and MJ not forget and not remember who he is?
Exactly. I think it's a fair enough question to ask.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, are those, like, are we, and maybe they don't want us to even be asking this, but I feel like you got to if you open the store, is like, did you change those movies?
Yeah.
And did you,
like,
or did you start like new strings? You just started new strings that could maybe be a movie one day.
We just sent 5 villains back
to the moment that they were going to be killed by Spider-Man. So, like, first of all, the Spider-Men were there.
Right.
So, like, years later.
Obviously, it was years later. So they're going to go back to Spider-Men who don't know that they were cured.
Yeah, and they'll be like, well, they'll know certain ones, like the Lizard. They'll be like, oh, he's already cured.
Yeah.
And then, like, Otto is, like, good again. So he'll be like, I won't do it.
Yeah. It's, my machine, it fell in the river. It's okay.
And Norman will be like, Norman might still die.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got the glider coming in.
Yeah, you just be like, hey, when you get back, you're going to want to, like, duck or jump really high.
Yeah, right. Like Spider-Man does.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of questions come around like, what did you just do?
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have heard the same things, but there's a lot of fervor around Andrew Garfield now.
Oh, of course. I mean, you got
like
all this
people were
happening.
like, oh, maybe we didn't know what we had in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and they're talking about Amazing Spider-Man 3.
And now that, well, and they're talking about Spider-Man 4 too. With Toby, that started this last week. Of course. I mean, this was all like, this has had to be what Sony definitely wanted.
Oh yeah, they had their hopes and prayers on this,
and they're fueling that internet rage. Like, because I mean, I get on Twitter, you know, and I'm one of these people that, I mean, we talked about them on this show. Like, I didn't love those films that much.
No.
And, like, just comparatively speaking and, like, relative to the other films, they're just not towards the top of my list. All right. When you ask me, though, do you want to see this Spider-Man come back?
Yes.
Yeah. Duh.
Why wouldn't I?
Of course I do.
Do I want to see Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 4? Yeah.
And why do you think I think that? Maybe it's because I just saw them in a movie.
Yeah, and it was a great movie.
No one told us we were getting Spider-Man 2.5 and 2.5.
Right.
3.5.
3.5, yeah.
And we have 10 Batmans right now, so why can't we have 10 Spider-Men?
And I think that's what they're getting to, is like, whatever, let's just do it.
Right. And we had that moment with Electro and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, where Electro said, you know, oh, you're from the Bronx, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I thought you might be black.
Thought you're poor. I thought yep.
It's like, oh, well, there's probably a black Spider-Man out there somewhere.
So that's the little Miles Morales.
That's Miles Morales.
It's coming.
Yeah. Seeds.
All right.
Planting
how about
seeds?
Let's just do this. We'll do ratings and we'll hear our fans.
Let's do it.
Scotty, hit us first.
Man, this met my expectations. Like, and they were so high going in. And it hit every point. I got stuff that I wanted, stuff that I didn't know I wanted. So many surprises, so many things. Like, are they really going to do that? And they did it. 3.8.
It's a fair share, my friend. Giggler, you're up.
3.9.
Had
to
one up.
I had it written down already. I promise.
I spitballed.
Honestly, like, it has everything. Like, the expectations were so high, and like how much they delivered and how much I enjoyed it, and still want to keep seeing it. There was so much fan service, yet like the story was so good, and like it just hit me in the feels, like from top to bottom. And like I said earlier with the Daredevil thing, like barely even remembered that happened by the end. Like, it just, like, I think I watched a video like the next day, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot he was even in it.
Right.
So it's just, there's just so much that went on, and so how it's going to affect so much in the future. Like, I'm so pumped. Like, Spider-Man like jumped up to like one of my top favorites. Like, he was in the middle there, but now I'm reading like random Spider-Man comics that I was not really that interested in like weeks ago. So they did their job with me. But wow.
Hell yeah, man. Fair share. Way to go. If this character, if you weren't a fan or if you were kind of a fan, you're probably a much bigger fan after seeing the film.
No matter who your Spider-Man was.
Exactly.
Like, this movie was for you.
This movie was for you. And this is for the people that love Spider-Man. I agree. Delivered, over-delivered, got me asking more questions. And as vast as this MCU is becoming, Like that's what it's all about for me, and making it less predictable and more open ended. And I just feel like taking it to the cosmic multiverse level and seeing that sky break open in this movie is like that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
And I want to see like where that goes. And Multiverse of Madness will be a payoff that I think this movie was just kind of starting to show you.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just barely doing it.
Yeah.
But this was a Spider.
This was just Spider-Man.
This was Spider-Man. The 3.85.
Oh man. Everybody, Price is right me over here. Coming in.
Hey, and that's how it goes though.
Yeah.
All right, Spider-Man No Way Home. We obviously loved it. Man, we just talked about it. This is probably the longest review we've ever done.
Oh yeah.
And I knew it was going to be that way because when you have something you love, you end up talking about it a lot more. And that was no question here.
I could keep going. I have more notes.
Go ahead.
Remember the what was the Doctor Strange what if moment? Can you say it again?
Yeah, sure. So that was whenever Doctor Strange astroplanes Peter out of the body, then his Spider-Man body is keeping the box from him, and it's his spider sense.
Yeah.
Taking over.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and this theory.
Yes.
Do you want to say it?
Can you remind the name again?
Yeah, so in What If, in the Doctor Strange episode, when he's trying to go back and save Christine over and over, and it won't work, he learns from the Ancient One that there are these things called absolute points.
An absolute point in time.
And we maybe talked about it in Loki, I feel
Cannot
like.
be changed.
Can't be changed. This is something that's so vital to all existence that you
this
can't change.
This happens everywhere, always, every time.
And that was the thing that he couldn't change.
Mm.
Okay, so in this, the theory is that without Spider-Man going on that journey to become his ultimate Spider-Man and lose Aunt May and all the things that transpire, that this was like one of those things that even with magic involved, the theory was it was like a Reddit post.
Yeah,
I think.
Yes,
couldn't be changed.
Couldn't be changed no matter what, and that was like additionally, like I think it was like a combination, maybe of both. Like it's a cool theory.
It could be either, or it could be both.
It could be neither.
I love the speculation. That's the kind of shit that
I felt like you could see the spider sense, so it's hard for me to back off that. But I could pair that with something with yours, where it's like because Doctor Strange was really confused. He was like, you should not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, even him knowing that Spider-Man is Spider-Man, he's like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
I was waiting for him to say, like, oh, well, you missed in the background in the clouds. You could see the Watcher's bald head. Like,
oh, my gosh.
I'd be like, oh, what?
That's what you got to start looking for is the Watcher. Like, now that we've seen it in What If.
Right.
That'd be wild.
That was good. And what else you got in your notes?
I mean, let's see. Where does Daredevil go from here? Like,
yeah, where are we going to see him next?
It's just weird that he's introduced and then he's going to not even remember who Peter Parker was. So it's like he basically just made a cameo in this, and how do at the end of this movie,
like, why do I have this unpaid bill?
What if Spider-Man,
some random guy?
Was like yesterday?
Yeah.
What if Spider-Man shows up and has a conversation with the Avengers? So they don't know who Peter Parker is,
but they know Spider-Man.
So like
they know who Spider-Man
in their head.
They work with Spider-Man.
Is Spider-Man just like a guy that doesn't talk ever, and they just like
he can talk, but
they don't
do you
know
what I'm saying?
who he is.
That's the part that bothered me the most. I think
I'm telling you, yeah, it's like it was my first question. Like, how does this work with everybody that knows him?
It'll be addressed. I guess, but
eventually,
and who knows where it's all going to lead, because it's going to be a lot of like things jumping around so fast that like these things we're worried about, I don't think we'll be worried about, because like it's going to be like multiverse of madness and then beyond.
Jesus.
The question is, does any of this get addressed in Morbius? Any of it?
Yeah, any of it, because this is the Spider-Verse.
This movie was supposed to come out in 2020.
That's insane.
Mid 2020. They started filming Spider-Man after this movie was supposed to come out.
And it just got delayed again.
And it got so delayed that they completely filmed Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
And released it before this movie came out.
Oh my God. And now and here we are again.
And we know all the threads that we've seen in the trailers of Morbius.
Yeah, it's got everything. It's got the Spider-Man Raimi on the wall. You got the Vulture from that we saw in
from
Homecoming,
the MCU,
from the
Spider-Man.
MCU. We got the Daily Bugle newspaper. We got a mention of Venom.
A mention of Venom.
A straight up mention.
Yeah. What is going on?
What's going on? All right, man. We've talked about this a lot. We want to hear from some other folks. And
do it.
Scotty, you got some people to call us, I know.
Oh, yeah, always.
Yeah, man. Way to go. And we have two callers to feature to give their thoughts on the film. We're going to let these reviews play out and let us all take a break, drink some water. Enjoy this one at 754 call log. That's our studio phone. This one comes at us from Victoria.
Yes.
Hi guys, this is Victoria. I was just calling in to leave a review for the new Spider-Man No Way Home movie. It was amazing. My husband and I really enjoyed the movie. We had a great theater experience. We had a pretty full theater, so the crowd experience and reactions were really great, and we had a great energy. I don't think we had an experience like this since we saw Endgame, so it was a really great way to return to the theaters. So I'll start by saying I don't know much outside of the MCU, so my review is going to be strictly from a movie fan point of view. One of the things I love about Tom Holland's Spider-Man is that they've really honed in on his personal struggle of just wanting to be a kid and be with his friends and have the having to have like that responsibility of being a superhero. This film does a really great job of continuing to show his struggle with that, and eventually him having to make the really powerful and mature decision to give up on everything and everyone that he loves so much. I think it's both beautiful and really sad to see him make such a tremendous sacrifice, and I'm really excited to see where they go with Tom's version of Spider-Man in the future. Of course, I have to mention the fact that not only do we get to see our other Spideys on the big screen with Tom Holland, but that they get to have some sort of small redemption in this movie as well. Tobey's Peter Parker gets to help Tom's Peter Parker realize that killing the Green Goblin isn't the answer for him, and that getting that revenge won't make him feel better or bring his Aunt May back. In the same respect, we see Andrew's Peter really still struggling with the trauma and aftermath of losing Gwen, and he gets the chance to save MJ and has that really powerful emotional release in what almost feels like a second chance for him. One of the things I love the most about this movie was the really honest emotional portrayals. I think it's beautiful and humbling to see the guys on the big screen crying and supporting each other and just really doing their characters justice. I think it was a lot of fun. We had a great experience, and I love all the references and nods to the Spider-Man movies. It was a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed my review, and thanks for your podcast. We love it. All right. Bye, guys.
Victoria.
Round of applause.
Nice.
Solid, fair share, great thoughts. A lot of stuff echoed that we talked about here, and I think you guys had a good time, and really appreciate you calling in, Victoria. Had some good thoughts there, and sounds like you guys enjoyed the movie. We have one more to share. You want to say a special hello to Victoria?
Yeah. Love you, Tori.
Just like that? Tori?
Yep. Tori.
Oh, Tori. So it's like a little nickname. You guys got some close friends listening to the show. I appreciate you guys. You got one more. We want to play another review of the movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. This one comes at us from Dustin. Let's hear from him.
Hey, Logan. My name's Dustin. Phone number is 314-606. I'm going to talk about the new Spider-Man, No Way Home. But before I get into it, I want to shout out the main man, Scotty Scoop. What a great guy he is.
Whoop.
Really, my wife and I just saw the movie, and I just want to talk about how great it was. It was really cool to see all the Spider-Mans coming together like that. And something I really liked about the movie was kind of how they're still keeping on with Tom Holland's Spider-Man's character development. You know, with the first movie, I mean, you know, he's still a kid, you know, he's still learning to be a hero, right? Like all the other superheroes kind of just started out great, right? Like, I mean, look at Captain America. He came out of that experiment and he was perfect, right? Like there wasn't anything really more he needed to do to be a hero. He was a hero when he came out of that. And Spider-Man's just completely different, you know. And in the first movie, his mentor was Tony Stark, you know. And of course, after Tony received his untimely end, Spider-Man was kind of lost, you know. He felt like he couldn't do it anymore without Tony's guidance, and he tried giving up. But, you know, he really came together in the second movie and realized that he does still need to do it. And what I really liked in the third movie is that they kept that theme, but it wasn't Tony teaching him anymore like it was in the first and second movie. Instead, it was himself. You know, Spider-Man was teaching Spider-Man how to be Spider-Man. I thought that was a really cool idea with the theme, and I really liked that on the character. And man, I really love the show. Hope to listen to you guys again, and catch you next time. Thanks.
Awesome, Dustin. That's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It was like he was being Spider-Man. That's what I was saying about like when he was like, that was cool when you made me astroplane. Don't do that again.
Yeah, don't do that again.
Like it's like that's like
serious.
That's like get your hand off me. I'm become like he's just slowly learning how to be his own hero. Totally love that. You want to give a special shout out to Dustin?
Dustin, you're my boy.
Not Dust.
No, Dusty.
Dustin, Victoria, we appreciate you guys, and we always want to feature our fan reviews. That's 754-CALL-LOG, 754-225-5564, and that is the meat, of course, the MCU, man. Look at this year. We're going to talk about it here in a minute on coming up, what is coming up in 2022. But just to briefly reflect, 2021, look at that. MCU, man. WandaVision, Falcon, Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man. That was 1 year.
I can't believe it.
And we did them all.
Not only was it 1 year, but it was a pandemic year.
A pandemic year, and we're getting
like, this is what we got.
Those were all the Marvel films we got and TV shows. Big thanks to Digital Spy, helped for that list. But man, that was a great time. I think we did a great job in 21. I hope you guys enjoyed those reviews. And again, you can check all those out at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU.